All right, on to The Rage, Carrie 2, from 1999, and it shows.
Very
horrible-
90s movie.
A horrible massacre strikes up after an outcast teenage girl is taunted by a group of high school jocks, all of them unaware of her cutthroat telekinetic powers. That sounds familiar. Director is Kat Shea, also known for Poison Ivy and Stripped to Kill.
Huh. Okay.
I've seen Poison Ivy.
Isn't Poison Ivy the one with what's that girl?
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
And the one that played Darlene on Roseanne.
Oh, that's right.
All
that's
right.
right.
Well, I was
she
thinking of a totally
also.
different thing.
I do remember that.
Who's the girl from Who's the Boss? What's her name?
Alyssa Milano?
Yeah, she's not in that.
The sequel, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that movie got like a few sequels, so you might have seen part 3 or something.
Well, at some point I got to see Alyssa Milano's boobs in one of them, I think.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
A good chance you did.
Writer is Raphael Moreau, also known for Hackers.
That's the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, very 90s.
During filming of the climactic party / bloodbath sequence, it took 3 attempts to shoot Rachel using her telekinetic powers to shatter the glass doors. On the first take, Emily Bergel flinched, and on the second take, she showed her clenched teeth. On the third take, they were able to finish the scene as they wanted it, with her showing no facial reaction. Real glass shattered by the blowers was used for this scene, and Emily received multiple cuts on her skin.
That does not sound like a good idea.
Back, arms, legs, and backside after the shooting of each take. She is deliberately not shown afterwards from the back to hide her injuries. What the fuck?
Yeah, have you guys ever seen
that sounds like a lawsuit.
I think it's on YouTube, like the behind the scenes of that.
No, we gotta check that out.
Jesus Christ!
Safety.
You don't have fake glass in 1999, guys. Get your shit straight.
Come on. Well, hey, at least all the fire wasn't CGI, right?
Yeah. Hey,
I know, right? They burned people alive, and on top of it,
she was a trooper. She was a super trooper, one might say.
All right, Lance, what you think?
Wait, real quick. Let me see if I can pull him up. We just talked about a movie he's directing. One of the football players.
Yeah.
The guy that's always carrying the camera, film, and everything.
Uh-huh.
Elijah Craig. He's the director of Tucker and Dale versus Evil and that
upcoming
Clown in the Cornfield movie.
Get it?
No kidding.
I thought it was real cool that in this movie he's always carrying a camera in real life. He became the director.
Yeah, look at that.
That makes sense.
Hey, Tucker and Dale is one of my favorites. That's a great movie.
It's a good one. I think that Clown in a Cornfield is going to be fun, dude. I do.
I hope so.
I think we're going to enjoy that one. But yeah, they didn't have everybody. At 99, they didn't quite have everybody carrying their cell phones around yet, right?
Yeah, I guess
so. It had to have like a little.
Did anybody have any cell phones in this?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that they did. I mean, I think that they were there by 1999,
but they were like this big.
That's when the little Nokia phones were around, right?
Yeah, I didn't get one until I was like 21 or in my early 20s.
Right.
Lance, what'd you think, man?
Not as good as the first, that's for sure.
Well,
I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. You know, you've got one character coming back that was Sue Snell, right? Now she's like the school counselor or whatever, and so, you know, she's kind of like I guess the link to the original one. And yeah, I guess they didn't show her dying in the gym, right? Because wasn't her and John Travolta were outside looking through the window, so they made it or something like that?
No, that was Nancy Allen. Sue Snell's the one that tried to stop it, and she got away. Yes. And then they had that fake out scene where Carrie's hand came out the grave.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which they
There you
explain that in the movie because of what happened at the end of the first movie, that she actually got committed, and they bring that
Sure.
up.
That makes
All
sense.
right.
Yeah.
It does make sense. All right, so they tie it together, but so that's obviously how she was able to tell really, really early. It wasn't like you guys were saying the ashtray scene, where like, well, let's just pretend that didn't happen. Like they knew immediate. She knew immediately. She gave her those 5 trick questions, like, do you ever see furry animals crawling all over you at night? Okay, no, all right. Do you ever make things move with your mind? And she just stares at her, and she's like, okay. I know what's going on here. She
Yeah.
figured it out, because she'd been through it before. So that was I thought it was fairly clever the way they did that. This was kind of similar to the first, in that you've got the jock guy who's, kind of the nice guy, trying to be the nice guy, and then you got all the others that are just complete dickheads. But I don't know. I found these guys to be kind of obnoxious and over the top. Like, doing a list of how many girls you bang and assigning points to the chick based on, I guess, how hard to get you think the other guys think she would be. It seemed very arbitrary to me, didn't it? To you guys? Because there was like a super hot chick, one of them made it with it, they gave him a 1, and then there was kind of like, well, it was not so hot, they gave him an 8 or something. It's like, where are they fucking coming up with these scores?
Well, there's clearly no point system.
All right. And they were like, oh, the fat chick. And I was like, you
Right.
just showed her. She's obviously not fat. She's like a
No
normal looking
wonder the
girl.
movie was fat. I know.
Well, it seemed to all be based off of what I think his name was Mark, the main one of the group.
40-year-old
The main-
teenager.
The main,
Yeah.
the main douchebag. The main
It seemed to
douchebag,
be off
yeah.
of what, because
Okay.
Home Improvement kid bangs
Right.
what's her name? Mina Servi.
Mina Savari.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was
she's
looking
not-
good in this one.
Yeah, but because I guess she's a loner goth chick,
Yeah.
they give him like
Yeah.
a low score, and he doesn't even want to. He's trying to scratch it out because he doesn't even want to
Yeah,
acknowledge that.
admit
I'm
that
just
he-
like,
Yeah.
you guys are really
For me-
following what this main guy is thinking.
That made no sense to me, dude. I fucking bang Mina Savari. Everybody's gonna know about it. Believe me. He is fucking smoking hot, dude. And the chick that played that, well, her name wasn't Carrie in this one. What was her name? I guess it doesn't
Rachel.
matter. The main
Rachel.
protagonist, Rachel. She was cute, but like she wasn't Mina Savari cute.
Yeah.
In my opinion. That's just my opinion.
She
you know.
definitely
Different-
was not the hottest friend.
So, can y'all explain to me at the end when she broke out? Because she had a tattoo, of course, right? They both had it together, her and her friend. They were like friends for life. What's with all this weird, like, I don't know, it looked like vines growing all over her or something like that? Where anybody
90s special
figure out
effects.
where that came
Yeah.
from?
Somebody
it was-
on the crew was like, "Guess what I can do?" And they were like, "Okay, let's do it."
Oh,
Tribal tattoos are in
I
right now.
guess.
Let's go.
Yeah, I guess. I found that rather silly. I found a lot of the characters kind of silly. I just didn't necessarily believe how the hell they were coming up with who gets what point for what. But I'm getting super nitpicky about it.
Yeah, you're
truly.
really hung up on
you know,
how they deal
I'm-
out points.
I am. I'm super. I'm a numbers guy, so I'm super hung up on that. But it was good to see one character back from the original movie, so you could have someone who kind of understood what was going on and could kind of help her through it a little bit. But
And
not
I
the
sort
movie.
of like the way that they
I was
sort of
saying.
like tied it in too, like with her dad was the same dad as Carrie's dad thing.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
that
I
was
like
kinda neat.
they tied that in, and I like that we didn't have to meet the dad. We just
Right.
know this comes from this gene or whatever
True.
comes from him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
That
they
makes a lot
filmed
of
it. They were
sense.
just like, we don't really need this scene. Which,
Yeah.
thank you. No, we don't.
Took the scene out. Yeah, took the scene out. Yeah, my overall assessment is that it was a big step down from the original, but I still had a little fun watching it. I'll put it that way.
Well, and I think there were when did the remakes come out? After this or before?
Yeah, after, right? Because there was Chloe.
Oh, I guess they
Chloe
did.
Grace Moretz.
I know the
and then I think
TV
it was
one
TV.
came. The Chloe Grace Moretz one came out in 2013, and the
Okay.
TV movie came out sometime in the early 2000s.
Okay. So this is the next Carrie movie.
Yes.
Period.
It took a while. They took a while, didn't
20
they?
fucking years later.
Right?
All right. Brian, what do you think?
I like this one. I think this is kind of a underrated 90s horror movie that doesn't really get talked a lot about.
It was very 90s. It was very
from the
90s.
music
From
to
the
the
soundtrack
clothes.
to everything else.
Yeah.
This whole
Yeah.
movie was just one big tribal armband.
Yeah. The bullies, they were a little bit more over the top than the original movie, but I think they wanted us to, they try to get the message across that these are the ones you're supposed to hate. These guys are gonna get their comeuppance, and I like that they had another basically prom scene at this rich douchebag's summer home or parents, one of his homes. So I don't know.
That's right.
And I thought some of the kills were pretty cool.
Yeah.
They were. I like the one with the not clueless girl, because she looked like Alicia
Right.
Silverstone.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Not Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, I liked her glasses exploding in her
Yeah.
face, and then she turned around and shot the spear gun through the home improvement kid's nuts.
Yeah. And like left him in the pool. Like it took the nuts with it.
Right. And then the pool cover that hit the dude in the head, knocked him
That
out.
was actually kind of traumatic to me, because I almost drowned as a kid. So watching him slowly just kind of die, I was just kind of like, oh shit. I don't know if you bleed out your mouth while you're
Probably not. Yeah. Probably not, but you know.
He was just trying really hard to breathe.
Yeah, but this was another classic case of fuck around and find out. But not as good as told as the original one. I don't think the original one's ever going to be topped. I think the closest we're going to get to it is if Mike Flanagan actually makes this Carrie series.
That might be good. Might be good.
Yeah.
That'll be really good.
I still think this is an underrated 90s, not classic or gem, but just like, sure. I don't think it gets talked about enough.
Yeah, kind of had that look to it, like The Craft or something like that.
Yeah, The Craft,
yeah, a little bit.
The Faculty. Yeah.
Sure.
All them like high school horror movies.
Yeah, yep. I don't know that I ever watched this when it came out.
I remember I probably watched it in like 2000 or something, like when it first came to HBO or whatever.
Me and Nez were talking about when he asked what show we were doing next, and I told him Carrie and the Rage, Carrie 2, and he actually reviewed this for the first time. Last year was the first time he ever watched it, and he ended up liking it.
So say hella good.
Yeah, that's why I say a lot. This is kind of underrated because
sure,
at the low end it's decent. It's not the greatest, but it's entertaining.
Yes,
but I don't think a lot of people have talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not trash, and to be something that came out in 1999 that I completely missed. I don't know that this one got the credit that it should have when it first came out. I mean, especially with people like Mina Suvari. I mean, maybe she was. I don't know if this was maybe super early in her career.
I think it was, right? Yeah, she was pretty young.
And but the kid from Home Improvement, he's a pretty big name. And then the other dude, he was in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, I had to make sure that was him because he has a twin that acts.
Oh, really?
No shit.
Yeah, that was him.
Well, I didn't know that. But I was all right. It definitely was. It reeks of its time period for sure. And it's definitely got its
fair enough.
It's 90s stuff, and it's a little bit over the top. Still works. I think some of the some of the like little I don't want to call them flashback scenes, but like when she would start getting weirded out or whatever, and they'd put something in black and white and do the
Black and
shaky
white,
cam
yeah. It was
thing or
kind of
whatever.
weird, yeah.
Like that was. I mean, I
An
guess it
odd
worked.
choice.
Maybe it worked for the time. I don't know that it works. So it definitely ages itself. But
Tina
aside from,
did she did American Pie right before this the same year.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Makes sense.
So maybe she was doing like both these movies sort of at the same time, and you never know what's going to succeed.
She did this, American Pie, and American Beauty all in the same year.
Oh, American Beauty. That's
All
the good
American
one.
Girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bed of Roses. The Bed of Roses.
She's the one on the roses. That's right.
That.
But yeah, I think it was a solid movie. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's weird. It's weird that they took 20 years to make a sequel to Carrie. To be honest.
Yeah.
Like, how is this not something that they just dogged on hard in the 80s?
It worked for Gladiator too, and I didn't think it would.
Did any of you guys play football?
Yeah.
Nope.
Did your coach ever tell you to pull your pants down and bend over to see if you had a tampon hanging out your ass?
That was very odd. That was very awkward.
No, but it was funny.
Yeah, that was very fucking awkward.
I got some sand in your vagina.
See, I wish they would have kept that scene and maybe had something involving his parents to show us why he acts the way he does.
That makes sense.
Instead of just having that one scene that maybe, he wasn't always like this, but he had adults around him kind of pushing him towards this behavior.
Yeah, so I kind of like that push on the modern movies where they'll take like bullies or whatever and then go into their like personal life and you figure out why they are the way that they are. Because like these people are just mean for the sake of being mean a lot of times, and those are not really evil characters with a lot of depth.
Yeah, I really wish they would have kind of, like I said, kept that scene with the coach and then maybe had something with maybe his father or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Add a little depth to the character for sure.
Because
just a quick flashback,
Yeah, because all the other football players that was hanging around with him, they just kind of seemed like they were just following off of what he said. So
right, like there was the one major douchebag. Although that's kind of how kids work too. If there's one major douchebag, a lot of kids will just fucking follow this douche's lead. So, got to make sure you fix that. But yeah, I think it was all right. It wasn't as good as the first one, obviously. It sort of seemed like a cheap '90s remake, which is kind of exactly what it was, and they just slapped the Carrie 2 on it. But it had enough talent to make it worth it, and it was a decent movie. All right. Scores, Lance, what do you think?
6.5.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah, 6.5. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. Yep, really liked this one. It was fun. The only things that kind of took me out was like, again, why was she growing tattoos all over at the end? That didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I thought
somebody in the special effects department just learned how to do it.
I thought the characters were a little too over the top, but other than that, man, it stuck to landing. 6.5. It's a good movie. 2/3 good. Half a point better than Night Swim.
Those exploding eyeballs were pretty awesome. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Spear gun right to the nuts.
Yeah, and then the little sack of bloody junk in the pool. Brian?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher, 7.5. Like I said, I think this is underrated. Right. They did enough to make me feel that this movie was connected to the original one, and I thought the cast was pretty decent, and some of the effects were pretty cool. And I think the bullies were over the top enough for me to want to see them get their comeuppance, and they all did. plus plenty of innocent bystanders, except for Finch from American Pie, who was sitting outside the party.
Oh, yeah.
Finch.
Shit break.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Stifler didn't show up on this one.
Which I believe what he says is in the trailer. We're missing one killer party.
Okay. We get.
Those are the only 2 movies I've ever seen that guy in.
Really?
I think
Surely
so.
he's been in more. Surely he's been in more.
I'm sure he has.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, immediately as soon as I saw him, I was like, holy shit, it's shit break.
Right?
Yeah, no, I think 6.5 is a good score for this movie. It's it's solid 90s horror ripoff. Kind of the best description for it. Hey, it's
All right.
the kid from Home Improvement is like the blonde douchebag guy, and he plays the role perfectly.
Sure. He plays the
Right?
role.
Like,
he's
it works.
blonde until they all fucking shave their heads for some reason before the game.
Yeah, I know that messed me up because then I couldn't tell them apart. I was like, wait, which guy is this?
They look like skinheads.
Yeah, I thought the one guy was going to keep his mohawk. At least I know which one you are.
Yeah.
That would have been great. That would have been fucking great, man. All right. So we enjoyed both movies, guys. That makes for a good week. So again, birthday shout outs. Thanks for picking the movies. And yeah, everybody who listens, we may or may not be able to honor all the birthday requests, but we might be setting a precedent here. Who knows? So as always, we want to thank you guys for listening to another episode of The Horror Returns. We'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. You can always reach us at thehorrorreturns@gmail.com. You can find us at thehorrorreturns.com and follow all of our social media from there, as well as hear the latest episode of the show. Next week, you guessed it, werewolves again. I can't fucking believe this, guys. And you said, yeah, werewolves again. Steve's going to be back to talk about
cool.
the Howling 3, the marsupials.
I'm kind of excited about that one. Look, if you're going to get some weird werewolf shit, Australia seems to be... and that's where the marsupials are.
Sure.
So.
Well, we're also going to do Howling for the original Nightmares. So, Brian, until the horror returns again.
It's a weird
Good night.